welcome. I am Ralph with 13 Peppers, and once again, I have been blessed by an awesome YouTuber. Yes, you. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are?
Absolutely. My name is Baus. I run a YouTube channel called Baus Grows that's really focused on gardening, especially with peppers, both indoors and out.
All right, that's very cool. So, and I actually really like your channel and everything else too. So the videos, your thumbnails, and everything on that too, which is really, really nice. So with that too, like I said, with a previous interview that I did, I am trying to get to know a lot of the other pepper growers in the community. And one of the excellent communities that I am a part of is the Pepper Lovers Discord. So, and I know that you're very active and everything in that. So that's really, really nice. Excellent place to go, especially if you have a lot of questions about peppers and everything else, because I know you're very helpful with answers. But I have a couple questions for you, and I wanted to start out with you growing in YouTube, when did you realize you actually had a love for peppers and wanted to actually start growing them?
Sure. I mean, I've been gardening in one way or another for pretty much my whole life. Started with my mom when I was a kid back in the 80s. We didn't grow a whole lot of peppers then, bell peppers, but you know, as I got older, I think the first time I tried to grow peppers was probably 2003. My brother and I attempted to grow jalapenos and habaneros in a Tupperware container on our back patio. It didn't work the best. You know, we were a couple of college kids, thought we were going to have an awesome success, just throw some seeds in and we're going to have peppers, right? Had a little bit of a break because I was living in apartments, you know, that had no real grow space for a while. About 7 years ago, bought this house, and first thing I did was figure out what am I going to do with the garden space, right? So I've really, for the last 7 years, been heavy into growing peppers. I also grow, you know, tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, flowers, all kinds of stuff, but primarily food. So really, I mean, the last 7 years has been kind of the ramp up to where I am today, which is somewhat out of control. I had 140 pepper varieties in the garden this year, which it's not a big yard. So, I mean, I make use of every square foot of that. And every year I just try to grow a little bit more. You know, spicy food, though, is really what drove it. It's why I decided to go after peppers. Always loved spicy food. I can remember being like maybe 10 or 11 years old. Again, my brother and I discovering cayenne pepper and thinking, wow, this makes everything taste better, right? And so, you know, when I knew I was going to build a garden, you know, 7 years ago, I was sure that peppers would be a big part of it. And they just continue every year. I expand more spots in my yard to grow more peppers. I grow other things, like I said, but the expansion is 100% due to peppers. So. Lifelong obsession, but really the last 7 years it's been
No, that's cool, because it's once you get that bug for the peppers, it's hard to go, and it just grows and grows and grows. So but no, awesome. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, you got the YouTube channel. What actually made you decide to move from just growing peppers into actually making a YouTube channel about them?
You know, it was mostly due to the Pepper Lovers community. So I had joined the Pepper Lovers community on G+, Google+, right before that kind of stopped being a thing. And the community then kind of dispersed to MeWe, Facebook, Reddit, and then I found Discord, right? I don't really do Facebook. There's too much silliness there. And Reddit's never been my thing. So I tried MeWe for a while. It was okay. And then I joined the Pepper Lovers Discord, maybe 2019-ish. And what happened was, first I wanted to show off what I was doing because I had all these goofy hydroponic pepper experiments, you know, and I had this blurple grow light, and I'm growing in coffee containers and laundry pot containers, anything that I could put a plant in and put hydroponic solution in, right? So I was making videos just to kind of show off, here's what I'm doing. This is my fun thing that I'm doing in my basement. And then it got to, a lot of people had the same kind of questions. You know, you mentioned that we're a community that helps new growers and answers questions even for experienced growers. Rather than answer that question over and over, I thought, I'll just show you. And I started making videos showing people, you know, how do you transplant from hydro to soil? How do you use the double cup method? What is a, you know, mini Kratky hydroponic setup look like that can cost you next to nothing? And so it was really just kind of I didn't want to keep repeating myself. It's easier to say it once and then just paste the link every time. And that really grew, though. It grew into, hey, look, I grew all these cool things in my garden this year. I want to taste them, and I may as well do it on camera so people can see me suffer. And that was kind of where my Taste the Pain series came from. And that started off a little bit of a different arc I started making hot sauce videos because that is one of my other passions, is making hot sauce, doing things with my peppers, right? So I was doing tutorials like that. Still doing garden tutorials, doing series on growing hydroponically, doing tips on how to improve your pepper yield or how to plant peppers in the first place. But also really got heavy into tasting different peppers, kind of getting that reaction, doing deeper dives onto specific types of peppers, the Hangzhou space peppers, for example. But really, it's kind of all over the place at this point. It started off as just garden advice and how to do things with peppers specifically, and now it's how to grow them, how to eat them, how to cook them, how to enjoy them. And it's really just something that's become a huge passion and another hobby for me, where I can spend the spare minutes that I do have, creating something fun.
No, it's really good. And one thing that you create, which I really like, is you have all these specific series that you've actually done. You got your Adventures in Ahi Land. You had the ones they came from space series that you had on that, and your alphabet of peppers and everything too. So it's really nice, the kind of focus and everything on the series that you're doing. So I personally enjoyed them. But what was your inspiration for those kind of series?
It's funny. The first few were really just I started tasting peppers. I'm like, well, I'm gonna make a series out of eating these peppers out of my garden. That was the Taste the Pain series. That was really just drawn from, I happen to be a East Coast hip hop, 90s, 80s hip hop kind of fan. And so Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man, famous line, I came to bring the pain. Well, I came to taste the pain, right? And so that was where that kind of came from. My next series, I think after that, was actually They Came From Outer Space. That was because I discovered these Hangzhou space peppers, and the 22nd version is they're seeds that China had sent to space to try and expose to space radiation, to force mutations, to get different genetics, get bigger plants, bigger fruits. It wasn't just peppers. They did this with lots of different types of food crops. But there was 10 varieties of peppers that they brought back, kind of crossbred, backbred, and stabilized 10 varieties. I was dead set on finding all 10. At the time, I had 2 or 3. It took me almost a year and a half to find seeds for all 10 varieties. Hangzhou number 2 was really elusive a few years ago. And I kind of made it my mission. I'm going to grow these all out, document my grow, and then share the seeds with as many people as possible, right? To make sure that they are easier to find going forward. And that title really just came from like the campy 60s sci-fi kind of Pulp Fiction, like they came from outer space. Every time I said it, I pictured like a black and white, goofy costumed alien walking. Pop culture really kind of plays a role in a lot of my naming and what I do with my series. So Look Ma, No Soil, that was my hydroponic grow series, how to grow hydroponically, really just to play on the meme, like, look Ma, no hands. That one was pretty fun. I think it was 8 parts, really just trying to teach people the basics of you can grow food at home without soil. And it's pretty easy and a cost-effective way to do it too. And then, you mentioned, I had the Alphabet of Heat last year, so that was inspired by an off comment in the PLC Discord, the Pepper Lovers Discord. Great guy on there named Chili Crosser. He made a joke one day. He's like, oh yeah, Boss is probably going to grow a pepper for every letter of the alphabet this year. I went, that ain't a bad idea, right? So I totally give him credit for that idea. I spent some time sourcing seeds. I only had to buy like 2 because my pepper seed collection was already ridiculous. I think I had to buy V and Q were the letters I was missing. So got those, grew those all out, and really it was a fun series because I got to focus each letter, here's the pepper I grew, here's what the plant looked like, here's how it tasted. And then this year was Adventures in Ahi Land. I also have to credit Chili Crosser for coming up with that idea, so I don't do any of this stuff myself. I take inspiration from whoever wants to offer it, right? He had mentioned that I should just grow all Ahi varieties because I liked them so much last year. And so I did. I think I grew 24 different varieties of ahi peppers this year. I featured only about 16 of them on the series for various reasons, mostly at the end of the season. It came fast, it came snowy, and I fell behind. So I didn't get everything tasted. But I like having a theme for the year. I like having a purpose outside of just, I'm going to grow a bunch of different peppers. I try to have at least one theme. Every year, the space peppers are in my garden, all 10, just because I want to make sure that I've got plenty of those to share and pass around. But it's a lot of fun. It's a different way to keep myself focused on making videos because I know, hey, next week I have to do letter I, or next week I have to do, Ahi Guyana. It keeps me moving through the series and keeps me focused on putting out content that apparently like 10 of you watch, so it's worth it.
hey, the 10 of us enjoy it. I think it's the same 10 of us that look and watch all the videos, but all the growers out there. Oh, so well with your channel and everything, it is awesome. Where do you see your channel actually going in the future, or what kind of plans do you have for the future? If you want to let us in your secret.
A perfectly timed question, honestly, because I mentioned earlier, it's kind of a lot of everything right now, from gardening tips to eating peppers to tasting hot sauces, making hot sauces. And so what I'm actually doing for 2024 is something a little bit different. I'm going to refocus the Baus Grows channel on growing and gardening and really try and get it back to content that is specifically about how I grow peppers. What peppers am I growing? Tips and tricks, things that I've learned over my years of gardening that might be helpful for others. I really want to focus on that content again in 24. And as a result, I'm actually launching a second channel. So another part of me, and I don't share this out loud a lot, but the truth is I'm a big fat gloozer. What a gloozer is gluten-free person, right? So this is a term. 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with celiac disease, long before gluten intolerance or anything was really known.
Right.
My brother at the time, of course, being a loving guy, says, "Hey, well, you're a gloozer now," and it stuck, right? So he coined that term, and it's something that I've embraced over the years. So I'm starting a new channel called The Spicy Gloozer, and it's going to be focused primarily on creating gluten-free foods that are spicy, right? So combining my love of spice with my love of cooking, and sharing ways that you can do that are friendly for people who are gluten-free. You can always substitute in regular flour and things if you prefer, but it's really going to kind of separate my two interests of gardening and cooking and eating into two separate channels. So looking forward to that, trying to kick that off in January. More coming soon on that one.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you already got somebody who's going to subscribe and watch that one. Definitely, and everything too. So now I do have a thing, because I kind of watched your giveaways and everything that you have lately, and really started noticing everything that you have on your back wall right now is about the sauces that you actually make and sell. Would you mind actually talking about your thought process about making sauces and then selling them and what you do with
absolutely.
that?
I mean, I'd love to. It's a topic that I could probably go on for way too long. I'll try to.
You're all good.
Summarize a little. I mean, when I started really kind of kicking up how many peppers I was growing every year, I realized that I had to have something to do with them. You can't eat them all raw, especially if you're growing super hots. The older I get, the less I wanted to eat super hots raw too. It kind of went hand in hand with my love of crafting hot sauces that could tone that heat down a little bit, but also be really delicious.
Yes.
And so my focus has always kind of been on, I want to do something new. So the reason I have, 60 bottles up here, this is one of nearly every hot sauce that I've made over the last couple of years. I make a new recipe almost every time. Very few do I recreate. It's just a fun way for me to experiment, try out new flavors, figure out what works and what doesn't. One of my favorite things to do really, though, is combine spicy with sweet. So I like to make hot sauces that are fruit-based, balanced with super hot peppers. So you got your classic mango habanero or pineapple habanero, but I like to also pull in cranberries, pomegranate, peaches, any kind of fruit that grows on a tree. I've found a way to use in hot sauce. Really just experimenting with those flavors is my absolute favorite. So why I do it is just because, one, I have a ton of peppers, but two, I eat a lot of hot sauce. If I can supply myself, all the better. It's another opportunity, though, for me to combine what I love. And that's kind of been a theme of, I think, the last maybe 10, 15 years of my life is I've got a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of interests. I work in tech by day. I went to school to learn to be an artist, so I've got a strong creative side. I love gardening. I love, music and digital production work. So this was just another way for me to go, hey, I can combine my love of cooking, my love of spicy, and then making videos about it. It's just, takes that nerd level up one notch so that I can play with my camera and learn, video editing and things like that. So I do offer them for sale in small quantities. Most of them actually get given away to friends and family or people on my YouTube channel. So I'm sure there will be a link below, but I am wrapping up holiday giveaways right now. But there will be a lot of giveaways in 2024 as well. So if you want to try hot sauce, you can probably get it for free if you try enough.
Now, one thing I do like, and I do want to give you a compliment about, is when you're on your channels and watching your videos, is your sense of humor. You just having your fun and what you're doing, and it comes out in your videos and shows, and just makes your videos and everything very authentic. So just want to say that is awesome, and I love watching that and everything of your videos. So
can't take myself too seriously. Otherwise, I would realize I'm sitting in a basement talking at a camera about peppers. But, you gotta have a little fun.
You do, because I mean, we're in this hobby. We're only in this hobby because we love doing it, and being able just to have fun doing it is a great thing. Because I was in last week watching a bunch of your videos, and my wife actually walked in, and her comment was, "Who is that?" And I explained that I was going to do an interview with you, and she's like, "Okay, that's fitting because his humor is just about as bad as yours." Which I took as a compliment. So
I knew when I saw your video with the Christmas tree sweater outfit thing that it was, we were on the same level here.
Oh, gotta have fun when you do that stuff. So
absolutely.
Okay. Well, speaking of fun or anything, do you have like any like fun stories about handling peppers, dealing with peppers, or anything that you've experienced?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you ask that question, the first thing that always comes to mind is those oops moments where you accidentally hurt yourself one way or another with spiciness. And the one that comes to mind for me is actually several years ago, relatively new to the pepper lovers community. There was a guy named Goham. I think he might still be on Facebook, but at the time he was on the Discord, and he had this jerky that he was bragging about. Said, "I made the hottest jerky on earth." Mm-hmm. I thought, whatever, I'm gonna buy some. It can't be that hot, right?
Yeah.
At the time, I had eaten like ghost pepper raw. That was the hottest thing I ever had, and I maybe took a half a bite of one and was miserable. So he sends this jerky over. I look at it. I knew he had marinated it in like hot sauce and capsaicin extract and all this stuff, and then he coats it in his, private blend of super hot pepper powders. But I'm thinking like, it can't be that bad. I've eaten a ghost pepper. And so being dumb, I'm like, well, it's a big piece of jerky and it's kind of thick. I got to eat this fast so I can chew it all up and then deal with it. So I took 2 big bites and ate about half of the stick of jerky. 10 seconds later, my eyes were running so much I couldn't see. My nose was just a fountain. Like, my saliva was going. I was full on panic mode. Had never done that before. And my wife was just sitting in the other side of the room, dying laughing. Like, just could not control herself. Well, I couldn't breathe. I'm dying for my first super hot experience. And she was cracking up. So I remember that. But then I think, I was trying to think about it earlier today. Like, the other pepper story that's maybe not as much about hurting myself, because of course I've done all the other things. You have pepper oil on your hands.
Yeah.
Touch your eyes, take your contacts out, do anything else that you don't want to touch with spicy hands. You're gonna have a bad time, right? But a less terrible moment was a couple years ago. My son is going to be 11 in a few days.
Oh, nice.
He has been my gardening partner for years, and we were talking just about like, hey, what could we do to help kind of give back or help other people get excited about gardening? And we talked about starting some sort of a charity, and he was sitting down in the basement with me coming up with ideas, and he had drawn a little sketch and it said, "Plants help us grow," and it had a flower with a watering can pouring water on little stick figure people. I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, by gardening you help learn how to take care of the earth, how to be better people, and it's a nice peaceful activity you can do with others. I thought, well, that's pretty awesome. So we took his idea, we grew it out, we got the logo blown out by an artist that we found on Fiverr, and actually made a charity out of it. So we sell merchandise with the logo. It's on the back of my sweater. I won't stand up and show you, but it's a fun thing that we do just to raise money that we donate directly to garden charities. So we've been supporting a group called the Urban Farm here in the Denver area. They are really focused on bringing in kids and urban people to teach them how to grow their own food, which is what I'm very passionate about. So it became a fun thing that grew out of, my love of peppers and gardening with my son. That is, I think, a little bit more of a cool story than just, well, I've hurt myself a lot.
No, that is awesome. Is sitting down doing that, and especially with your son and stuff. That is great, and definitely I'm gonna have links and stuff for that. So very, very, very nice. Okay, well, I was trying to think. Do you got anything else that you'd want to add or anything, or?
I think just overall, I think it's really cool again that this community exists. When we started making videos 3 or 4 years ago, when the G Plus community blew up and then scattered across, I didn't know if we'd ever have that sense of community. So I really appreciate you reaching out to folks. I think it's pretty cool. A lot of us have talked over the years about, hey, we should do an interview series or some sort of a podcast where we talk to different members of the community, and we never did it. Right? You took the initiative and got it going, and I really appreciate that. I also really enjoy your content. I think you do some cool stuff. I like your what is it, your boxing series. You know, your pepper tasting on this year was a lot of fun to watch. But you know, really, I just appreciate that you did this and are a good part of this community. So keep growing. And you know, I always tell people at the end of my videos, plants help us grow, and I truly mean that. Right? It's, I think, a great hobby, and I hope more and more people get into it. And I guess maybe that's the other reason why I do it, is to try and get people interested in growing peppers, becoming one of us.
Part of the cult. You're joining our cult. But no, thank you very much for that. And my whole joy in talking to everybody on the Pepper Lovers Discord, which I'm trying really hard to get a lot more active in, just from time, is kind of difficult with everything I have going on. Because I'm actually, same thing in January, I'm launching a podcast with my son, going over just all about Dungeons and Dragons, and that being an hour and a half long. And that's why I have all the D&D books back here. So editing time-wise, it's a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, excellent community. Great on there too. And what I actually like about it the most is if I do have questions or anything like that, everybody is so nice to actually give answers, to help out and to grow and to share. So, I mean, it is great. I I can't say anything bad about it at all. So,
it's different than most online communities, and that sounds cliche, but a lot of other groups that I'm a part of, like there's jerks, there's people that are just not helpful, and that's so super rare in the Pepper Lovers community. It truly is, like you said, it's there. There's people there to help, be friendly about it at the same time.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm in a couple Facebook groups, and mostly it's just posting pictures about what you've done. There's really not that much communication. There's a few people that I communicate with, but not much at all. It's not as active in sharing as the Peppers Lovers community on there too. I'm sorry, on the Discord. So yeah, I mean, it's excellent. Sorry, a little bit of tongue-tied here, trying to figure out everything that I'm needing to say. But no, this is awesome. Well, I want to say thank you very much for letting me do this interview with you. I think it's actually great because I know we've chatted a bunch of times over Discord, but not actually talk face-to-face. So this is excellent to get to meet you and everything. So this is actually nice. Would you like to... Yeah, this is great. Would you like to actually go over where people can actually get a hold of you, or best way to actually find you?
Sure thing. I mean, if you want to talk directly to me, Discord is the best place, right? So join Pepper Lovers Discord. I'm there way more hours a day than I should be. I also have YouTube channel, so Baus Grows on YouTube. You can find me there. Instagram, same handle. I don't do as much on Instagram, but I try to post at least once every day or two. YouTube is the best place to get video content. I don't really do Facebook. I think Instagram posts there. So really just look Baus Grows up anywhere. You can also go to bausgrows.com. I've got links to everything there as well.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hey, I want to say thank you very much for your time. And this has actually been most enjoyable. So, and with that, I want to say thank you very much. And thank everybody for watching the video. Follow him if you've not followed him before. And with that, I just want to say you guys have a very, very good day.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.